So today's video I want to talk about the power of knowing what you do not know. So really looking at, the importance of questioning things at times, rethinking things at times, especially in how you are approaching things or maybe the information that you are, collecting. As athletes, we are definitely, tend to fall on the side of very routine based, sometimes superstitious based. And sometimes we get so caught up in doing things the way we've always done them that we feel helps us, that we don't take a second to really then question sometimes, is this still the best thing for me to get me to the place I need to be able to perform and to gain the outcomes that I'm looking to get. And I think, I've fallen into this myself sometimes. And I think this is something I definitely see with a lot of my athletes, because there is a fear of, overthinking things. Maybe if they change something because, things are good right now, that it will make things worse. And this is definitely obviously not the target of this. We're not looking to jump all over the place. We're not looking to make things worse. But I think sometimes it is really, really important to, question the things maybe a couple times a year that we're doing, and whether or not they are really giving us what we need from them. And at one point in our career, maybe they did. But as we grow, as we develop, as we become more aware, as we change as humans, what we need to be able to perform also can change at the same time. So I'll give you, for example, I was talking to one of my pro hockey players the other day, and we were talking about this because this is definitely one of his tendencies, to get a little bit rigid with his routines, not, being flexible and, being able to, rethink things. And it came down to him, realizing that, this can sometimes, and has happened in the past, with his pregame nap, where he, obviously in sports, and especially in hockey, pregame nap is a really big thing. Pretty much all players do it, varying degrees of length of the pregame nap, but it becomes this thing that, got to have the nap to be able to perform, tonight in the game. And he was kind of forced to rethink this because he played a little bit professional, and then he went and played some university hockey in Canada, and then now is back to playing professional. And his time during university forced him to rethink this, because of being a student athlete, he couldn't always take the nap, whether it was because of exams or studying or whatever it was. It just wasn't feasible to be able to do it. And he sometimes actually began to notice and see that he actually performed better in those games when he didn't nap beforehand. And it made him kind of, think about it a little bit differently. And it was a great, as I said, example of, he was forced into rethinking it. But if he had never been forced into rethinking it, and he knows this for himself, he, commented on this, he never would have rethought it. He would have just continued to do pregame nap, kind of religiously, never think about it. And, the interesting thing is sometimes he does know that after a pregame nap, he's actually more tired and more sluggish than beforehand, which then obviously is going to impact his performance during the game. And it doesn't mean he's never going to nap. It really now comes down to him really reflecting on the day. Is he in a space where he needs the nap, where he's tired enough that's, that obviously is going to benefit his performance, and how long is that going to be for him? How long is that nap going to be for him? And then there are going to be other days where the nap isn't the most beneficial thing for him to do, that actually it's better for him to, maybe do some other things, not things that are going to tire him out, but kind of occupy his mind and keep his mind away from the game, and just keep it a little bit active and engaged. And sometimes that, again, as I said, helps him to be able to have the performance that he needs come game time. But he's able to, obviously has to reflect, know himself, and to know what, that day is going to be the best approach for him. So that's just an example where sometimes we do need to reflect a little bit, rethink things, question things. I said this is not something to do all the time, but, we can have that tendency to just kind of do things the way we've always done things. And because nothing's really wrong, we just assume that everything that we are doing is helping us to be able to perform. But if things are good, doesn't mean that they can't be great. And, if we don't sometimes look with that fear of, making it worse, stops us from potentially making it great, that also is problematic. So again, it's not about overthinking it. It's not about, second guessing our routines and the things that we have in place on a consistent, weekly or daily basis, unless we know we need to do the check-in, like with the pre-game nap, where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we should find a way of, like, you know, maybe twice a year just checking in and just saying, hey, like, are all these things I'm doing, you know, the best for me? Can I amend them? Maybe I need to do more of them. Maybe I need to do less of them. Maybe I need to add something new into the equation here because, you know, as I've learned more about myself or learned more about the mental skills or other things, physical things that I need to do, maybe I need to add that in there. You know, another great example of this is, you know, especially for athletes as they get older, right, their needs start to change. Maybe they need to do more stretching or more rolling. Maybe they need to do a little bit even less physical practice in terms of just, you know, obviously managing, you know, load management's a big word right now, especially in the NBA, you know, and that obviously changes as they get older. And so there is that need to sometimes, again, rethink things, look at how we need to be able to do things to still maximize our potential and what we are capable of doing. And obviously as we get older as an athlete, that can also change.